So, today's lesson, let's talk about evolution, how life became so diverse. All life came from a single common ancestor, and there are small mutations along the way that gave a particular organism an advantage in reproduction and survival. As time goes on, different changes accumulated depending on the organism's environment, eventually creating different species. This process is known as natural selection. So, eyes are one of many different examples of evolution, and eyes can help organisms survive and reproduce in different ways. So let's check it out with a species called the zeitster. Let me describe the zeitster to you.
As you can see, the zeitsters are quite the behemoths. With a height of 7 feet 3 inches and approximately weighing 463 pounds, it is quite big. It also has its eyes that help them in many different ways, including avoiding obstacles and finding food. They like to eat graham crackers, and they prefer to eat the good bears first. Also, its natural predator, which hasn't changed for thousands of years, is still the dreaded Black Panther.
So, I'm going to use this handy camera to record the wild zeitster in its natural habitat. Let's go.
Nowadays, all the zeitsters seem to have eyes, so there must be an evolutionary advantage in having them.
Now that we've seen the zeitsters now, let's travel back in time to when they started to first develop eyes. Now that we're back in the past, before the zeitsters have developed eyes, they had a unique way of sensing its surroundings. Very similar to present-day bats, but more primitive. Echolocation. However, there are some drawbacks to echolocating comparing to eyes, so let's see the difference. The first example is about their avoiding danger from the environment. The environment the zeitsters lived in was very treacherous with countless amounts of huge rocks lying around, and it was very likely for them to trip over a rock. I almost tripped over one just now. Case in point. Anyways, here's an eyeless echolocation zeitster in action. Look how majestic he is.
This is the disadvantage of echolocation. As you can see, this zeitster was unable to sense the rock, and therefore has tripped and injured itself, so it is unable to run. Oh no! The zeitster's natural predator! The Black Panther! It's appeared! The zeitster can't run away!
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
In contrast, the zeitster with eyes can avoid the rock,
allowing him to continue to live. Besides avoiding obstacles, having eyes can help with mating as well. So let's pause here. The zeitster on the left, as we can see, is the most attractive zeitster around, and multiple zeitsters are trying to get her attention. But here we have the eyeless zeitster trying to use a rock to get her attention.
Denied. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
But as we can see here, the zeitster with eyes is much smarter, using the flowers to attract the mates. Lastly, distinguishing food from rocks was quite difficult with echolocation, so some eyeless zeitsters would get injured from consuming the rocks.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
On the other hand, the zeitster with eyes can distinguish the food from the rocks.
now that you've seen how eyes can help with survival and reproduction. Get your eyes now, get 'em here for just $19.99. Wait, just kidding, because it takes a long time for eyes to evolve.
Alright, now that I'm done with filming, we can go back and see how it's possible for such a complex organ to develop through random mutations. Since I'm not an expert in evolution of eyes, let's call an evolution theorist and biologist Theo.
Hi Theo, I got a quick question. Some people think that eyes can't be a work of evolution because it's too complex. It doesn't work with just a single mechanism. There's no evidence of a starting structure. So, could you please elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure, the eyes can definitely be evolved by natural selection. Biologists use the range of less complex light-sensitive structures that exist in living species today to hypothesize the various evolutionary stages eyes must have gone through. Here's how some scientists think the eye may have evolved. The simple light-sensitive spot on the skin of some ancestral creature gave it some tiny survival advantage, perhaps allowing it to evade a predator. Random changes then created a depression in the light-sensitive patch. A deepening pit made vision a little sharper. At the same time, the pit's opening gradually narrowed, so light entered through a small aperture, like a pinhole camera. Every change had to confer a survival advantage, no matter how slight. Eventually, the light-sensitive spot evolved into a retina, the layer of cells and pigment at the back of the human eye. Over time, a lens formed at the front of the eye. It could have arisen as a double-layered transparent tissue containing increasing amounts of liquid that gave it the convex curvature of the human eye.
Okay, but some people say that one possible explanation for eyes is that it's just simply God's creation with no evolution needed. What do you have to say about that?
Let's use the human eye as an example. Because blood vessels run across the surface of the retina instead of beneath it, it's easy for the vessels to proliferate or leak and impair vision. So the evolution theorists say the anti-evolution argument that life was created by an intelligent designer doesn't hold water. If God or some other omnipotent force was responsible for the human eye, it was something of a botched design.
Alright, well, I think that answers all our questions here. Thanks, Theo.
No problem. Bye.
Alright, man. Peace.